Now that Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning has released, the Mission Impossible series of 8 movies has apparently ended, although that's up for debate. It just depends on the box office, really. But now that it's apparently ended, I thought it'd be cool to review every single Mission Impossible movie, all 8 of them, in one video, and I'm gonna rank them from worst to best. Although the Mission Impossible series is pretty special because it's not bad to good, it's more like good to best. So, no further introduction, let's just get into it, I guess. Now, before I say anything, I do want to say these are just my opinion, and my opinions are kind of weird, so yeah, don't get mad at me. This is just what I think. Okay, let's go. So, number 8. What do I think is the worst Mission Impossible movie? Well, I don't think this movie's bad, I just think it isn't as good as the rest, and it's Mission Impossible 2. Now, this is probably the most common pick for the worst one, although I do still really like it. The motorcycle stuff at the end is really cool. There's a bit too much slow-mo though. And the stuff with the Chimera virus is pretty interesting. I like Ethan Hunt in this movie, although it just feels a little too generic. Australia and Spain is a cool setting for a Mission Impossible movie, and I like the espionage stuff, although there are a couple too many mask face reveals, but whatever, it's fine. I like all the shootouts and stuff, all the action's pretty good, but like I said, a bit too much slow-mo. My only real complaint with this one is, one, the villain's pretty forgettable. I think it's some like rogue IMF agent. And second, the girl that Ethan Hunt is with throughout the whole movie is so forgettable and just really boring and cliche. And I think this movie as a whole suffers from being a bit generic, just feeling like every other 2000s action movie. But it's fine, because it's got the Mission Impossible brand. And I do like how this movie looks. It's very 2000s, and I like that look. So, yeah, Mission Impossible 2 is my least favorite one, but I still like it. Okay, number 7, my second least favorite. This is really gonna make some people angry, but I have Mission Impossible, the first one from 1996. Now, hear me out. I think this movie is still very good. The opening is great, seeing all of the IMF agents just absolutely fumble the mission and die except for Ethan Hunt, and it gives him motivation throughout the entire rest of the series to care for his team over the mission. I think that the Black Vault break-in is an amazing scene. It's been parodied so much, and it's for good reason. It's great. And the helicopter scene in the train tunnel is like a great taste to see how crazy the action scenes can get in the sequels. And I think it stands on its own as a very good espionage thriller. It doesn't have that much action, but it's definitely on purpose. I still think this is just a really good 90s action movie with not as much action, but yeah, it's good. I like the characters. I like everything. It's just good. It's just, I don't like it as much as everything else. Like I said, it is a bit generic just because it's been copied so many times, so watching it now, it does feel pretty generic. But other than that, I think this is just a solid espionage thriller movie from the 90s. Although if it wasn't for Mission Impossible, I probably never would have watched this. Okay, coming in at number 6 is, for some reason, recently a lot of people's favorites, and I can see why, but it just isn't for me personally. Mission Impossible 3. I think the first 3 Mission Impossible movies are very stylistically different from each other, and this is my favorite out of the 3. I think this is really where the series found its footing. I just like basically everything that this one does. The action scenes are really cool. The one on the bridge is great. This movie has probably the best villain out of all of the movies. I think the part in Shanghai where he jumps off the building is great. The rabbit's foot is a good way to have a race against time subplot. And the ending with this person, Philip Seymour Hoffman's character, like threatening Ethan Hunt's wife, it's really good. Also the opening scene with the helicopter going through the wind turbines, that's also great. It's just a really solid action movie. I do think... Okay, I'm trying to remember what it was, but I'm actually don't have that many complaints about it. It's just good, it's just the other ones are better. Okay, I do remember now. I do think the ending is a bit grungy and a bit too 2000s. And the secondary villain, I didn't find that interesting. But otherwise, this is pretty cool. I like this movie. We also get the introduction of Benji, which is cool, although he's barely in this one. Yeah, I just think this is a good action movie. Okay, at number 5, this is also probably going to anger some people, but I'm going to say it is Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. This is a lot of people's favorite. I've seen that thrown around. A lot of people are saying this is a very top tier Mission Impossible movie, and I think it is very good. It's just I like the other ones better. I think the opening with Ethan Hunt hanging off the plane is an all-time sequence. I love when he goes into that like underwater vault. That's really cool. Although my favorite action sequence has got to be the motorcycle chase. That was just crazy to watch. My only complaint is that I think what was it? I don't even remember its name. The Syndicate, like the anti-IMF group. That's the only thing I know about it. I don't really remember much about it. And I think the villain here is a bit lackluster. And he kind of just falls into like a glass box at the end. I wish they saved one of the action set pieces for the end, because when the credits rolled I was like, oh, is that it? And this sounds a bit more negative than the others, but this one has a lot higher highs because the action scenes in here are brilliant. I think Christopher McQuarrie is a very good director for these movies. So yeah, Rogue Nation, I think it's very good. It's just not as good as the other ones. I know I'm sounding like a broken record saying that so much. Also, Jeremy Renner's character here is great. This is probably my favorite team out of the whole series. It's just we don't get to see that team shine very much because they're all split up. But yeah, great. Okay, so at number 4, now these top 4 are very interchangeable except for number 1, which I'll probably think of that one as my number 1 forever. But these next 3 are basically all tied. I'm just letting you know. But number 4 right now for me is probably going to be Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Don't get me wrong, I think Ghost Protocol is great. It introduces probably my favorite character, being Jeremy Renner's. It has the Kremlin bombings, which is great. The Burj Khalifa climbing part is probably one of the best action set pieces in the entire series, and the motorcycle chase in the sandstorm is also great. It's just I like the other ones better. Like, I think this movie is amazing. Benji gets a lot of time to shine here. Yeah, it's just really good. I did kind of miss Luther in this one. He wasn't in it barely at all. So that's a shame because he's definitely one of the best characters in this whole series. But other than this is just a really good Mission Impossible movie and laid the foundation for the entire rest of the series, having great action, great moments, great characters, and kind of forgettable villains, I'm not gonna lie. Although I did like the part where he drove a car into the floor. That was pretty cool. Okay, number 3 is, I think, actually just tied with number 2. I like these the exact same. But today, I'm gonna say that my number 3 is Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning, the one that I just saw. I did not think it would be this good because I've been reading all the buzz about it. Everyone's saying it's one of the worst ones. It's so exposition heavy, the flashbacks kill it, but wow, this was an amazing theater experience. I do think there are a couple too many flashbacks, but I did read this one review which put it pretty good. They're saying it shows some of the best parts of the old movies and then shows that it can somehow get even better. Now, I don't think the first half is boring at all. It rises the tension, ups the stakes, and then you get rewarded with one of the best second halves in any Mission Impossible movie. The 2 standout action sequences here is 1, the abandoned submarine. That was so claustrophobic and cool, and though it didn't make much sense, it was just so awesome to watch. Also, simultaneously, the CIA Black Vault guy's house being burned down with like everyone just shooting at each other was great. And then the final one, the biplane hanging off with Gabriel and Ethan Hunt, that's probably the best like stunt in this entire series, I'm not even gonna lie. It's probably my favorite action set piece. It goes on for so long, and it is very suspenseful, because this is the final reckoning. You don't know who's gonna live or die. I am gonna get into pretty big spoilers here, so yeah. I think Luther's death was handled very well. I think the very end with his monologue is very emotional. It's very good. I think this movie's just great. I do wish the Entity and Gabriel had a bit more of a presence, because Gabriel's barely in this one, and the Entity isn't as creatively used as it was in Dead Reckoning. But otherwise, I think this is just an amazing Mission Impossible movie, and it's a great ending to the series. That biplane sequence there, just wow. Okay, no more Mission Impossible Final Reckoning spoilers. Number 2 is pretty unpopular, but I'm gonna say Dead Reckoning, or Dead Reckoning Part 1 as it used to be known. This is just super fun. I watched it with my family and it was amazing. It has some of the best action sequences. That part in the mini car where they're being chased is great and very fun to watch when they're both handcuffed. I also love the scene on the train. The motorcycle jump on the cliff is just crazy. This has easily some of the best action sequences in the whole series. I also love the Entity. It is an amazing villain, because like, if Ethan Hunt can outsmart any person, give it an AI who he physically can't outsmart. I love that scene in the airport where it's changing the faces of people and making like Gabriel disappear from his goggles. That's awesome and is really creative. I just think this is a great Mission Impossible movie. All the characters are really fun. It's just really fun, and I love the plot of trying to find this key. It's cool. It reminds me of the rabbit's foot from Part 3. And yeah, I just think this is a very great Mission Impossible movie. But my number 1 is pretty common. I think everyone has this as their number 1 basically. But mine will always be Mission Impossible Fallout. It is just a perfect action movie. Henry Cavill is a perfect villain. The action set pieces are insane. Like, the helicopter chase is crazy. You can't change my mind. The motorcycle chases were great, and the halo jump is insane. Henry Cavill reloading his fists in the bathroom, by the way, is crazy. This is some of the best action in like any movie I've seen. The characters are also at their best here, and just Henry Cavill's villain just carries this movie, I swear. But everything else is just firing on all cylinders. This is probably the perfect Mission Impossible movie. So, yeah, not much else to say. You've probably heard it everywhere else. Mission Impossible Fallout is amazing. But yeah, those are my thoughts on all 8 Mission Impossible movies. I really like all of these movies. It's just the top 4 are some of my favorite action movies of all time. The others are great, but yeah, this is a very great franchise. And if it really has ended, I think they didn't screw it up. They did it really well. They handled it perfectly, probably. So yeah, that is my ranking of Mission Impossible. Thank you for watching. Bye.